If you've been struggling making the full beat on an MPC, whether it's taking you 10 times longer rather than being on a DAW, or you're just struggling on the beat making process or the arrangement process, in today's video, I'm gonna be breaking down the way I make my beats, and it will help you out wherever you're struggling. Let's just jump right into it. The first thing I'm gonna do is just change the tempo to 130. Producers ask me, how do I get that drum bounce? It comes down to the tempo, because once you start to build up all these different BPMs in your head, then you're gonna realize, oh, I could just go to this tempo to make this beat. Let's actually get some plugins going. So I'm just gonna click this plugin. Let's start off with some pianos. One of my favorite pianos I like to do is Ghost Octave, and go to shift 16 levels. This is gonna bring you to Pad Perform. If you're new and you don't understand what Pad Perform is, I have a whole full tutorial that you could go check out. This is primarily where you're gonna be able to just set your pads into a scale. I'm gonna actually go to B natural minor. Now I'll just play some chords. Now, what I like to do while I'm on the Fort Q-Link page, you can use the second knob to add bars. So I will put a note right at the beginning of the next bar, and then I will go to TC, and then go to legato, and then it stretches out all my notes. Now, if I didn't put this note right here, then the last chord is not gonna be sustained. And also take a look at the notes. You can see that they're different colors, and that's because I'm not playing with the full level on. You don't want full level on if you wanna mimic like a realistic kind of playing. If I was actually playing a piano, you know, I'm playing in different dynamics. So now that I have my chords, then I could just get into a quick melody. So when it comes to the melodies, there's a simple trick that you can use. You just copy the chord progression, transpose it, nudge it, because you want to bring it on top, put it back in the same key. So let's just go down a note. All you have to do is just move around these notes and you will have a nice melody. So let's just do that. You can even do it at random. And then I'm gonna just follow the same kind of pattern or riff. I could just even switch this part up a little bit. It's still the same pattern, it's just that I switched around the notes. And then what you can do is just highlight the ends. So you just do that and highlight that part. And this is why I like to just have that extra bar, because if it was this close, it would be kind of hard to just highlight it. So it's better that, you know, you could just highlight it from here, make it easy on yourself. So it's a decent melody, and we're going to build on top of it. And the reason why it sounds good is because you're using the same notes within each chord. And then before we move on to the next sound, let's just see where it's peaking at right now. So it's at -9. Make sure you turn that down. And for me, I like to keep my main melodies and chords at -18 dB. I could just go to the pencil tool on the sequence and duplicate to track. And I like to duplicate the track because if I'm using the same plugin and I don't have it on the plugin default, let's say the plugin default was on Hype, which is one of their other plugins, then I will have to go from Hype to Fabric XL, and that takes time. Even if it just takes a second, when it comes to workflow, each second matters. So this already brings me with the duplicate of the sound I was using, and then I could just go out and just go to some bells if I wanted to. And I like to sign chime, and then I could just load that. That's a lot faster. And then I could just rename that bells. And now you can see this sound kept the same reduction as my piano. And the more I copy it over, each sound would kind of start at the same reduction. Now everything is still being leveled properly without me even having to level it. What I'm gonna do is actually go to my sequence and double the length of my sequence. And then I could just switch out the last two because that's what I want to do. And then I could go up here to the blue part with my cursor and just press overdub and play, and it will just continue from here. And then moving on, we duplicate to track once again. Anytime you feel like the beat is missing something, probably try using an ARP. And not just the ARP sound, but the ARP kind of rhythm. So I'm gonna change this out into a guitar. I like the warm harmonics. You want to switch up the rhythm too. I didn't just do like an 8-note kind of rhythm. You see, I added like more of a swing to it. And I didn't play all the way because I already know I was just going to copy it over. So a quick way to copy is actually to go to the first Q-Link page, then use the second Q-Link knob, move it to the bar that you want to continue from, hold down Shift, copy, and then hold down Shift again, paste. Let's actually go find the lead. Square well. There we go. And we're going to just rename that lead. Staying organized is a must on an MPC. Let's go to the fit track, and that's going to be our 808. So I'm going to go to the key groups, load up an 808. I like this alternate 808, and we're just going to load that in. And if you go to sample assign, you can see it's loading on all the pads because it's in the key group. Then you want to go to menu, pad 14, quick shortcut to get to the program edit, and then put it on one shot, and then put it on mono. Let's go to the grid mode by double clicking main. We already in key. But as you can hear, the 808 is pretty loud, so I'm just going to turn that down a bit as well. And this time, I'm going to turn on my full level so that the levels are all the same. And then let's load in some drums. So I went ahead and named it and picked out my drum sounds. And I just want to turn down the whole program. I could always go back in and change the mix levels, but for the purpose of just not everything sounding loud, I'm gonna just turn down the whole program. I actually wanted that kick to come a bit earlier, so I'm gonna bring this back to right here. So it would be something like this. For my hats, I'm gonna actually turn off full level because I want my hats to have a bit of dynamics. So let's record something there. So this makes the hi-hat give the beat a bit more bounce because it's not at the same velocity. The better you get at your dynamics on the MPC, man, your beat is going to sound fire. Then I want to just add some open hats, and I'm going to still keep it off of full level. The only reason why I did the kick and the snare because I don't want my kick and the snare to be changing too much. Yeah, you don't have to do too much with the drums, man. And that's why I said the tempo matters because depending on what tempo you're at, even by doing the basic rhythm, you're going to already have a nice balance, especially if you have the right drums, you know, good sounding drums that go good together. That's why I like this kit so much. So remember, links in the description if you want to check out any of these products. So now that leaves us with the arrangement. And before we do anything with the arrangement, I like to explode my drums. And explode your drums just means to just track out your drums. I can have my kicks on one track, go to the other one, and then my clap. And I like to explode my drums because when I hold down main, I can see all my tracks now, and the actual drum track will be on mute. All I'm gonna do is copy this sequence, and then I'm gonna name that the hook, because after the intro, I wanna go into the hook, and then copy the sequence again, name this verse. So now that I have all of these, I have my outro, my verse parts, and my hook, then let's get the game started. The basic standards of arranging a song, you're gonna have your intro, which is like 4 to 8 bars. Anything longer than that, you're just making a movie and nobody got time for that. Let's go to mutes. We're gonna mute everything. And I think I just want the piano in the beginning and then just bring in the guitar. So I can actually record that in by doing overdub and play start and then just messing around with the mutes. And then now that's recorded. But what I want to do is go to track 12, shift menu. Can't be a J Freshman beat without the tag. J Freshman. So I'm gonna just record that in as well. J Freshman. So now that that's recorded in, I'm gonna just turn down my tag. And then you're having a hook. Hook is usually 8 bars. We're in double time, so 8 bars is actually 4 bars. So we're gonna have to double that by going to the sequence pencil tool and then double the length. What I wanna do is go to my mutes. I wanna take out the bells. Then it goes to the verse. So your verse could either be anywhere from 8, 12 to 16 bars. Me personally, I like to just make 12 bar verses. 16, I feel like it's just too long for trap. Maybe for hip hop, it's still a good thing. You decide where you want to go with that. And I like to split my 12 bars into 3 sections. So I'm gonna have 3 sections of 4 bars. And this is how I keep the listener's attention, because each 4 bars, I'm switching it up. So for the verse, I just kind of wanted to just drop out the guitar and the lead, just play the bells. At the end, man, just kind of give it that flavor. Mute everything. Then the verse second part, what I would like to do is go to the mutes. I would just like to have the piano by itself, and I don't have to record that in. I could just leave it like that. So for the third part, I just want to drop out the sound so it could just hit a lot harder when the hook comes back in. Take out the drums and see how this sounds. It could just be that simple. Outro. We're just gonna mute everything except for the bells and guitar. Take out the piano. We already heard the piano throughout the whole song, so it's just good that it could just end on a different point. So after you have your sequence all planned out, you can just press overdub, hit your intro, your hook, your verse part 2, your verse 3, and then your outro. Obviously, you probably want to have a second verse, so you would just do the same thing, hit your hook again, hit your verse, and just duplicate it pretty much. And then you have your arrangement just like that. And when you're done, you can just convert it to a sequence. You can put it on track 7. You can just go to menu, save, audio mix down. As you can see, the whole thing is 56 bars, so that's how you know it's your whole song. You could track it out, or you could just go from a WAV to an MP3, and then you just export it and save it to your hard drive. So until next time, thank you for watching. Peace. And if you still are struggling with making like a beat, here's another video of me making the sample beat.